Hello, everyone. We are going to read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth together. I've been reading and studying these tablets since 2013, and every time I go back and reread them, I am always further activated and finding a different message and deeper meaning within the words on these tablets, the light, the wisdom from Thoth that he has left and shared with all of us. I will make a total of 15 videos since there are 15 different tablets. I will narrate through the video, but I will also put the text of the tablet in the comment section below so that you can read along as I'm narrating. And then after we are finished reading the tablet, I will share some of my thoughts and feelings and opinions on the message contained within the tablet. And I want you guys to put your thoughts and opinions and feelings about the message within the tablet in the comments below. And I've also read other information, the Order of the Magi, some information from that group talking about Thoth and the Atlanteans and the Egyptians and, ancient wisdom and knowledge. So I have found information about these tablets specifically through other outlets. And if you are interested, I will, give you those resources and you can discover and explore those other outlets as well. So let's begin with the preface, and then we will get into the first tablet, the history of Thoth, the Atlantean priest king. The history of the tablets translated in the following pages is strange and beyond belief of modern scientists. Their antiquity is stupendous, dating back some 36,000 years BC. The writer is Thoth, an Atlantean priest king who founded a colony in ancient Egypt after the sinking of the mother country. He was the builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza. In it, he incorporated his knowledge of the ancient wisdom and also securely secreted records and instruments of ancient Atlantis. For some 16,000 years, he ruled the ancient race of Egypt from approximately 52,000 BC to 36,000 BC. At that time, the ancient barbaric race among which he and his followers had settled had been raised to a high degree of civilization. Thoth was an immortal. That is, he had conquered death, passing only when he willed, and even then not through death. His vast wisdom made him ruler over various Atlantean colonies, including the ones in South and Central America. When the time came for him to leave Egypt, he erected the Great Pyramid over the entrance to the great halls of Amenti, placed in it his records, and appointed guards for his secrets from among the highest of his people. In later times, the descendants of these guards became the pyramid priests, by which Thoth was deified as a god of wisdom, the recorder, by those in the age of darkness which followed his passing. In legend, the halls of Amenti became the underworld, the halls of the gods, where the souls passed after death for judgment. During later ages, the ego of Thoth passed into bodies of men in the manner described in the tablets. As such, he incarnated 3 times, and his last being known as Hermes, the thrice-born. In this incarnation, he left the writings known to modern occultists as the Emerald Tablets, a later and far lesser exposition of the ancient mysteries. The tablets translated in this work are 10, which were left in the Great Pyramid in the custody of the pyramid priests. The 10 are divided into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. The last 2 are so great and far-reaching in their import that at present it is forbidden to release them to the world at large. However, in those contained herein are secrets which will prove of enormous value to the serious student. And I just want to interject and say the last 2 parts have actually been released to the world at large since this was written, so we will be reading all 15. They should be read not once, but 100 times, for only thus can the true meaning be revealed. A casual reading will give glimpses of beauty, but more intensive study will open avenues of wisdom to the seeker. But now a word as to how these mighty secrets came to be revealed to modern man after being hidden for so long. Some 1300 years BC, Egypt, the ancient Kim, was in turmoil, and many delegations of the priests were sent to other parts of the world. Among these were some of the pyramid priests who carried with them the emerald tablets as a talisman by which they could exercise authority over the less advanced priestcraft of races descended from other Atlantean colonies. The tablets were understood from legend to give the bearer authority from Thoth. The particular group of priests bearing the tablets immigrated to South America, where they found a flourishing race, the Mayans, who remembered much of the ancient wisdom. Among these, the priests settled and remained. In the 10th century, the Mayans had thoroughly settled the Yucatan, and the tablets were placed beneath the altar of one of the great temples of the sun god. After the conquest of the Mayas by the Spaniards, the cities were abandoned and the treasures of the temples forgotten. It should be understood that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has been and it still is a temple of initiation into the mysteries. Jesus, Solomon, Apollonius, and others were initiated there. The writer, who has a connection with the Great White Lodge, which also works through the pyramid priesthood, was instructed to recover and return the Great Pyramid to the Great Pyramid, the ancient tablets. Thus, after adventures which need not be detailed here, was accomplished. Before returning them, he was given permission to translate and retain a copy of the wisdom engraved on the tablets. This was done in 1925, and only now has permission been given for part to be published. It is expected that many will scoff, yet the true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom. If the light is in you, the light which is engraved in these tablets will respond. Now, a word as to the material aspects of the tablets. They consist of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substances. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material law of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to the attuned thought waves, releasing the associated mental vibration in the mind of the reader. The tablets are fastened together with hoops of golden colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. So much for the material appearance. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of the ancient mysteries, and for the one who reads with open eyes and mind, his wisdom shall be increased 100-fold. Read, believe or not, but read, and the vibration found therein will awaken a response in your soul. In the following pages, I will reveal some of the mysteries which as yet have only been touched upon lightly either by myself or other teachers or students of truth. Man's search for understanding of laws which regulate his life has been unending, yet always just beyond the veil which shields the higher planes from material man's vision, the truth has existed, ready to be assimilated by those who enlarge their vision by turning inward, not outward, in their search. In the silence of material senses lies the key to unraveling of wisdom. He who talks does not know. He who knows does not talk. The highest knowledge is unutterable, for it exists as an entity in lanes which transcend all material words and symbols. All symbols are but keys to doors leading to truths, and many times the door is not opened because the key seems so great that the things which are beyond it are not visible. If we can understand that all keys, all material symbols are manifestations, are but extensions of the great law of truth, we will begin to develop the vision which will enable us to penetrate beyond the veil. All things in all universes move according to law, and the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expressions of man. One of the greatest of all cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as a material being. The great aim of the mystery schools of all ages has been to reveal the workings of the law which connect man, the material, and man, the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes of both the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature and so strengthen his will that it is able to concentrate all powers of his being on and in the plane he desires. The great search for light, life, and love only begins on the material plane. Carried to its ultimate, its final goal is complete oneness with the universal consciousness. The foundation in the material is the first step. Then comes the higher goal of spiritual attainment. In the following pages, I will give an interpretation of the emerald tablets and their secrets, hidden and esoteric meanings. Concealed in the words of Thoth are many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Light of knowledge, brought to bear upon the tablets, will open many new fields of thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light of your consciousness awakens the deep-seated understanding, which is an inherent quality of the soul. Tablet 1. The History of Thoth, the Atlantean. I, Thoth, the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king, magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amente, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after, these records of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. In the great city of Cure, on the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. Not as the little men of present age did, the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon did they renew their life in the halls of Amente, where the river of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into the light, and as many times have I ascended from the darkness into the light, my strength and power renewed. Now, for a time I descend, and the men of Kim is alchemy in ancient Egypt, shall know me no more. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Kim, if ye have falsely betrayed my teachings, for I shall cast ye down from your highest state into the darkness of the caves from whence you came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon ye. Remember and heed my words, for surely will I return again, and require of thee that which ye guard. I, even from beyond time and from beyond death will I return, rewarding or punishing, as ye have requited your trust. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me, knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity, knowledge that belongs to earth's youth. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us. Strong were we with this power, drawn from the eternal fire. And of all of these, greatest among the children of men was my father, Ptolemy, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after the 3 of the dweller of Unal, speaking to the kings with the voice that must be obeyed. Grew I there, from a child into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in a time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame. Not desired I, but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. Few were there among the children of men who had looked upon that mighty face and lived. For not as the sons of men are the children of light when they are not incarnate in a physical body. Chosen was I from the sons of men, taught by the dweller, so that his purpose might be fulfilled, purposes yet unborn in the womb of time. Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning ever and yet ever more wisdom, until I, too, approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me he the path to Amente, the underworld where the great king sits upon his throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the lords of life and the lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Free I was of the halls of Amente, bound not by death to the circle of life. Far to the stars I journeyed, until space and time became as naught. Then, having drunk deep of the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there I found greater mysteries and was glad. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled and the flame within quenched. Down through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death and return again in the light of life. Gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by the spawn of a lower star. In obedience to the law, the word of the Master grew into a flower. Downward into the darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last in this wrath arose from his Aguanti the dweller, speaking the word, calling the power. Deep in earth's heart, the sons of Amenti heard, and hearing, directing the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos until that great fire changed its direction. Over the world then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking, changing earth's balance, until only the temple of light was left, standing on the great mountain of Undal, still rising out of the water. Some there who were living saved from the rush of the fountains. Called to me the Master, saying, Gather ye together, my people. Take them by the arts ye have learned of far across the waters, until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in caves of the desert. Follow there the plan that ye know of. Gathered I then my people, and entered the great ship of the Master. Upward we rose into the morning. Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters. Vanished from earth until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled towards the sun of morning, until beneath us lay the land of the children of Kim. Raging, they came with spears, lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Then raised I my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments, a stone of the mountain. Then spoke I to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my display of magic science, until at my feet they groveled when I released them. Long dwelt we in the land of Kim, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the Master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally, I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might rise again in her children. Long time I dwelt in the land of Kim, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into the light of knowledge the children of Kim, watered by the rains of my wisdom. Blasted I then a path to Admente, so that I might retain my powers, living from age to age, a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the record. Great grew the sons of Kim, conquering the people around them, growing slowly upward in soul force. Now for a time I go from among them into the dark halls of Amenti, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lords of the powers, face to face once again with the dweller. Raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, a gateway, leading down to Amenti. Few there would be with the courage to dare it, few passed the portal to dark Amenti. Raised over the passage, I, a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes earth force, gravity. Deep and yet deeper I place a force horse or chamber. From it carved I a circular passage, reaching almost to the great summit. There at apex set I the crystal, sending the ray into the time-space, drawing force from the outer ether, concentrating upon the gateway of Amenti. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amente. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber. Then reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth I shall meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Builded I the great pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of earth force, burning eternally so that it too might remain through the ages. In it I builded my knowledge of magic science, so that I might be here when again I return from Amente. While I sleep in the halls of Amente, my soul roaming free will incarnate, dwell among men in this form or another, Hermes thrice born. Emissary on earth am I of the dweller, fulfilling his commands so many might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amente, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upward your eyes towards the light. Surely in time ye are one with the Master. Surely by right ye are one with the Master. Surely by right yet are one with the All. Now I depart from ye. Know my commandments, keep them, and be them, and I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal. Go I down into the darkness of night. Okay, so how do you all feel after that? I have to say, one thing that always really stood out for me with this first tablet is it really reminds me of stories in the Bible, just worded a little bit differently. I mean, it's talking about the flood, them being taken up in a ship. It's talking about darkness falling on the earth by the spawn of a lower star. Okay, that's, good and evil, God and the devil, right? And I honestly kind of see Thoth in a bit of a prophet role, like Jesus or, other prophets in other religions. Okay, because a lot of what is said by Thoth is, these are my commandments. This is right. This is wrong. If you do wrong, I will come and punish you. Um, if you do right by my teachings, you will be rewarded. I mean, I was raised Christian, so it's almost as though I was reading another version of that story going through this first tablet the first time I ever read it. And the interesting thing, is how old it is stated that this information is, which would predate Christianity, right? And an interesting note about Christianity, and you can look this up, it's actually the same exact religion as Mithraism, which was, practiced prior to the birth of Christ. It's the same exact story, just the names are different. And if you go back beyond that, there's, I think, like 12 or 15 different versions of what we know today as Christianity. And you can do the research for yourself and find all this information for yourself. And then also other religions that I have looked into a little bit. All religions kind of have a very basic same premise to the teaching and the word and what's being said, right? Um, I just see the Emerald Tablets of Thoth as like the inspiration of, all religions, as well as, the teachings of the law of attraction and expanding consciousness and frequency and energy and vibration. It's like there are endless stories on the earth plane that are telling this exact story in tablet 1. And I mean, that's just my personal opinion and feel on the information that is contained within this first tablet. If you have a completely different take or opinion, that's absolutely fine. Go with what washed over you. All right. I'm just sharing to, kind of open your mind to my perception if you didn't see it that way. And then I want to read the comments and see your perception so that I can expand even further as well. So for me, this is like the very first Bible, so to speak, or very first scriptures that were given to man, um, the less evolved man, because the Atlantean race was definitely a much more evolved race than even what's happening on the earth today. And I know there's different stories about different races taking down the Atlanteans. However, as you see stated by Thoth, it's the darkness of the spawn of a lower star. And that's how he is presenting the story of the fall of Atlantis. Okay. And the darkness washed over the earth until the appointed time where the temple will, be able to function once again. So those are just my thoughts. On this first tablet. I'm excited to get in to the second one. So, let me know what you all think, what you felt listening to this, reading this, your opinions, your thoughts, your consciousness about it. All right. So that is that is it for now. I'm excited to get into tablet number 2 with everybody.